Hello, kindergarten families. My name is Rebecca Hawkins. I am the reading specialist at Nass Elementary and also the district literacy coach. I've put together 3 presentations that correspond with the activities in the kindergarten packet that you have or can pick up at your child's school. I'm going to try and keep them short and not ramble on. This is the writing presentation that corresponds with the writing activities in the packet. I would like to give just a quick disclaimer. Some children will be absolutely and 100% ready for these activities. Some children will not be ready for these activities, and both are okay. I have 2 children in the district. My youngest will start kindergarten this fall. She is absolutely ready for most of these activities. She's tracing her letters, spending so much time doing that. She loves it. My oldest daughter is a 2nd grader this year. She was not ready for these activities during the summer before kindergarten started. Children are different. You know your child best. If your child's ready for these activities, that's great. You can always introduce them, but we definitely do not want it to become a chore just to get your child ready for kindergarten. We want it to be enjoyable. We want it to be fun. So activities are available. They're in the packet. Do them with your child if they're ready, if they're wanting to. If they're not, that's okay. I'll give you just a second to read through this slide and some of the activities you can do. The fun one here that we have done at our house is having your child dictate a story. Kids tell stories all the time. My youngest tells many stories, and they're all hilarious. And so I'll write them down, and then sometimes I'll go back and read them to her, and she thinks they're just the most hilarious thing in the world. But really what these activities are doing is giving a purpose for writing. They're helping your child understand that writing is meaningful and that it has purpose behind it. And these are some activities that your child can help you with that help create that purpose for writing and that meaningfulness. Since my family's been spending so much time at home the last year, we've taken up letter writing to relatives that we would normally go and visit, that we didn't feel super comfortable visiting anymore. So we would write letters to my aunt, and we would write letters to great grandma and grandpa, and then they would get letters back, and my girls loved getting letters back. They thought it was great. And that also just helps build that purpose and meaningfulness for writing. And then this next slide here is relates to the physical act of writing. One of the reasons why my oldest daughter was not ready for these activities is she struggled to hold a pencil. She always picked it up and tried to fidget with it for a while and try and get it in a comfortable spot so that she felt she could write and do well at writing. And that was one of the biggest struggles for her. So I'm going to pull up my document camera and show you a trick to get your child writing in what we like to call the tripod grip, which is our 3 fingers here, the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger. So with the pencil, you have your sharpened part here and then the painted part here. One thing that really helped my daughter become more ready, my oldest daughter, to become more ready to write was teaching her this little trick for picking up her pencil every time. So holding the pencil with the hand that they don't write with, taking their 3 fingers, pinching the pencil right here where the paint meets the sharpened part of the pencil, and then flipping it over so that it rests in between the thumb and the index finger. That helped her be more consistent with the physical holding of the pencil every single time. She kind of had now this new strategy for being able to pick up that pencil and not have to fidget with it and get it in the right spot so that it felt comfortable for her every time. And that was something that I just picked up at one of the seminars that I went to for reading as a teacher. So now that we've actually gotten to writing and what it looks like physically, the next little slide here goes over the activities that you can do with your child or your child can do on their own that come in the packet that you have picked up or will pick up at your child's school. Most packets from all the buildings came with a little sentence strip. This is for name writing, but it could be for anything. If they want to practice other things, they can do that too. But when writing the name, I would encourage an adult to write the child's name, and then we use this technique called rainbow writing. And rainbow writing, all it is them being able to trace over and over and over again the same thing, just using different colors. So here I've already traced over the pencil with an orange colored pencil, and now I can go back a day or a week or whenever the opportunity arises and practice writing that same exact name or word again in a different color. And this is what we call rainbow writing. So just going over the same word or name over and over again with a different color so that they can see their individual pencil strokes. And for these activities, I would encourage using a colored pencil or a crayon. The marker will sometimes bleed through and then the paper starts to rip. Colored pencils I recommend above all because they're more closely related to holding of a pencil. The crayons sometimes, depending on how big or small your child's hand is, can feel small in their hand and it doesn't feel like a pencil. So that's rainbow writing and the activity that you can do with the sentence strip that came in your kindergarten packet. And that's what that sentence strip is for. The next activity is the tracing A to Z. Some schools laminated their tracing A to Z pages, some schools didn't, and either one is okay. If they're laminated, schools sent home either a wet erase or a dry erase marker to go with the laminated tracing A to Z. And with the wet erase, which is what NAS will send their kids home with, tracing the letters with that wet erase, letting it dry, and then just getting a paper towel damp and wiping it off again. The one thing to note with the tracing A to Z pages is it will tell you the number of pencil strokes that your child will have to make on the paper. Most letters only have one pencil stroke. Like the letter B, we go down, we bring the pencil back up, never leaving the paper, and we go around and we do our two little bubbles there. Some letters, like the capital letter A, have multiple pencil strokes and they will have to pick up their pencil off the paper to make that letter. We encourage kids to keep their pencil on the paper most of the time because most of the letters only require one pencil stroke. The tracing A to Z does have a front and back. The front is the capital letters, the back is the lowercase letters. And same here, most of the lowercase letters are one pencil stroke, and we really encourage that with the kids. You start at that empty dot or that hollow dot, you go down, you go back up, and really focusing on keeping that pencil on that paper the whole time. If your school, if you received a tracing A to Z that is not laminated, you can utilize that rainbow writing so that your child has the opportunity to get multiple practices in. So I've already gone over the A and B twice. You can go over it again, do the letter C. And again, we're just practicing building. The biggest thing is building that muscle memory. We want to build that muscle memory for holding the pencil, getting that tight grip so that writing feels comfortable to your child. We don't want it to feel uncomfortable because then they won't want to do it. And again, the tracing A to Z, if it's not laminated, it will be front and back, and they can just do rainbow writing. They can go over it many, many times before it gets a little sloppy and it may be harder to go over it. But you can go over it. I've gone over this letter A probably 6 or 7 times already, and they can just keep practicing it, choosing a different color. And then the last writing activity in your packet is the the let's count. And this is practicing writing the numbers. Again, it's not necessarily about writing the numbers, it's about practicing that muscle memory. So if you have the laminated version, they can practice with their wet or dry erase marker and just practice writing those numbers over and over again, wipe it off, and then start over. If they have just the regular piece of paper, they can do the rainbow writing just to practice building that muscle memory for writing the numbers and writing the letters. And that is it for the writing piece and the writing activities that are in your kindergarten packet. If you have questions, feel free to email me. Either I can answer them, or if I don't have the answer, I can point you in the direction of someone who does have the answer for you. So my email is rebecca.hawkins@ortrail.k12.or.us.